Okay, so it doesn't matter if your house is in the shambles, if you're a fixer, or you sit next to a water tower, or even those great big power lines. In today's market, sellers are capitalizing because, well, there's just no inventory. We're going to go into that and do a little bit of Q&A. Well, it's that time of the month. We're going to do Q&A from questions that we've received and answer some of those questions so you can make the best business decision. So here we go. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like, share the link. Remember, this is in real time. This is free. There's no cost to this. I'm not asking you to support me in any way. It's free. But if you have questions, absolutely ask, because we love to answer questions, love to lead with generosity. And Kurt, it's a pleasure meeting you yesterday, at least online, to talk about, kind of where you're at and what's going on. Hope you find this information just as valuable. All right, I knew I could get it out. All right, so let's do this. You might be saying, George, what do you mean a water tower? All right, so unbeknownst to Luke on my team, we actually were going to talk about some of the, well, homes that aren't really maybe the best fit for the average person. So he sent me this one because, well, we always deal well with our clients, and we kept trying to tell their client that, not kept trying to tell them, we advise our clients of good decisions and bad decisions and future takeaways. So he sent me this one. That is the, let me get that squared away. That is the subject house on, I guess that would be the left side. That would be right there. With a big water tower. So I guess a selling point on this would be you'll never run out of water, right? Or water availability is definitely there. Anyway, listen, when there's not much out there, you know what? It's a great time to consider putting your home on market, whether it's a fixer, whether you have issues, maybe you have a dysfunctional floor plan. I know this sounds really negative, and it's not, because there's always a way to make things look better. The difference when we talk about, the government wanting to slow real estate, to tax real estate more, take real estate advantages away. The challenge is, you see, a new buyer improves a property. Okay? New buyers always come in, make capital improvements, increasing the value, refreshing, making things look nice. That is what a new buyer does. Owners maintain. And that's a very clear distinction between really what we look at. Now, there's some of you saying, hey, man, I just updated my kitchen. Okay, I understand that. Okay, but on average, new buyers improve. What's the first thing you did when you bought a home? You made changes to it. You updated it. You did things to it. You personalized it. And sometimes not in a great way. But anyway, so a homeowner, however, or an owner, whether it's commercial or residential, whatever it might be, they maintain. So getting that influx, maintaining those benefits to allow real estate to continue its cycle is a great benefit for most people above average. Not on average, but more than average. Above average, more than average. Yeah, we'll work on that one. Linda Alley, who's a dear friend and real estate agent, she will, I guarantee you, tell me what I did wrong in a positive way, because we laugh about it. All right. So when we talk about month over month, okay, so our inventory is up 42.6% month over month. Okay, so that is March. And of course, we are well into our very aggressive spring market. So we are seeing a greater inventory than we did in March. We're also seeing more homes coming on market than we saw in March. We're also seeing more pended homes because we see more homes coming on market. With that, our solds are up 11.8% month over month. Okay, well, that's expected. And I would be shocked if it was anything different, even though last year was some crazy times, because you were supposed to be home and you were out buying homes, which is a great idea. All right, year over year. So year over year, we're down 50% still. That's not a new number, but we're going to go into a few things. We're going to show you some different metrics here that we're going to monitor that is going to, we are at that fulcrum of when we're going to see numbers change. Not in a negative way, just to be more consistent. All right, so new on market is up 10.2%. Pended are up 25.3% year over year. And you're going to see in a second why that number is getting to be a little bit scary. And then, of course, we're up 19.1% on solds. Again, that's going to pose a little bit of an issue. I'm going to show you because you know what they say? A picture's worth 1,000 words. We're going to go over that. But let's give things a little perspective. So in 2019, we had 10,600 homes available for sale. A year ago today, or no, 2 years ago today, we had 10,600 homes for sale. A year ago, we had 8,901 homes for sale. Okay. Today, we have 4,396. I just wanted to give you kind of that quick rundown of when folks are saying, gosh, there's just not a lot of inventory out there. And we're going, really? Here's your why. And you can see how these numbers translate into that number right there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about a year ago. Here's my picture's worth 1,000 words. So many of you who are not familiar to this, what we've got here is the light green are the homes that are available. The dark green, those are homes that have sold. This is 2019, which is hilarious. Well, actually, it was a year ago looking at numbers from 2019. And as you can see, this is a normal trend. This is how we have seen it. I've been practicing a little over 27 years. This is so common. This is exactly what we see. And then all of a sudden, you know, when we hit so January, February, March, I think that's March and April, isn't it? Nope, that is March. Good, I did go back perfectly. So this is January, February, March, and you can see how we started to denote that we were closing the gap between sold and available and how things had changed from what was the prior year. Okay, so how does that look today? So when we look at these today, you can see that here is April, okay? April numbers will come out here shortly, but here's April, right? And then we have May, June. And you can see how the light green, the inventory has continued to drop. The dark green, which are the sales, have continued to rise. The red is sold in this chart and the blue is active. And you can see how everything is chasing what we are doing here. And even though this looks absolutely awesome sauce, that number there for available or what came new on market was 9,084. And in the prior year, we were 12,000. Oops. All right. Now you might say, okay, George, that's all fine and dandy. What does that really look like when we talk about availability or what we call, months of inventory? In other words, if we have a bucket, and this bucket's called the NWMLS, and everybody puts their homes in this bucket. All the real estate agents put their listings in the bucket called the NWMLS. Boop, I put a lid on it. If I had nothing else to it, I should have 4 to 6 months of inventory to sell. That is a balanced market, okay? So we have been, since about 2016, struggling with inventory. Really, it started in about 2014 where we kept drawing it down, kept drawing it down, kept drawing it down. 2016, hey, this is good. 2017 was an insane market. Nothing like what we are seeing today. And back then it was crazy, crazy. So when we take a look back, let's take a look back. So we have, right here, this is April of 2020. And Marie will post this for clarity. This is 2020. And you can see up here, everything's in reverse for me, we had 1.7 months of inventory. And then, right, we've got this slope. Oh, that's really weird. I'm going to do it this way. So you have this slope. It keeps going down. And as we get in, and here's where we're at today. So this is March. Naturally, I don't have April's numbers completely dialed in yet. My friends at Trend Graphics, we're working on trying to get something a little more dynamic for you guys. However, until then, I drew the artificial line because we have headed down sub 2 weeks or right around 2 weeks. It's heading down still, and you can see it was just a huge slope, and it goes down in December. December was record. When you come back here, here's January. December was actually kind of up here. And you can see how this is totally different from that year over year. With that being said, when I say if your home is a fixer, if you feel that your home is just not in tip-top shape, if your home has a big water tower next to it, if you back up to those Mac Daddy power lines that pop and futz during a rain like today, okay, so I hate to say it, now is the penultimate time for you to consider making a sale. If you have a floor plan that is that was great for you but has low desirability, now is a great time for you to consider selling your home because there's nothing else out there. Now, understand, there are 3 reasons a home doesn't sell, right? Price, condition, or location, and condition and floor plan, okay? Price fixes the other 2, but understand, we will have buyers out there that are willing to consider your home. So quit delaying. Get your home on the market. There has been no better time. Okay, the planets have aligned. The angels are singing for you. It is now your time. Hence, that's why Luke on my team, he sent me that picture. That's hilarious. But I guess you'll always have water. I guess. Anyway, all right. So let's go into the Q&A. Oh, almost forgot. Hang on a second. So we have the last 7 days. Last 7 days, new on market, 1,567. Pended, 2,061. We're still pulling down more than what's coming on market. We sold 1,479. Friday was a big bump in inventory because we were around the 1,000, 1,100. Boop. Yesterday, a whole bunch of homes came on market, brought our numbers up. But as you can see, we are still pulling numbers down. So when we talk about our inventory, our months of inventory, we are going to continue in a downward trend. We are truly struggling with inventory. So again, if you know of somebody that would really benefit and has wanted to sell but thought maybe their home just wasn't not quite there, hey, you need to share this video with them. You need to get in front of them and say, look, now is really the perfect time. Now is the time to make this and consider this an option. All right, so let's go through a little bit of the Q&A. Craig from Bellevue said, you said first impression is the list price. What do you mean by that? Okay. With the advent of the internet, and as it has continued to grow and become more and more of a primary tool, and because there are so many different sites out there now publishing it, but it being the homes that are for sale, okay, that has become the first impression. So the first impression are not only the pictures that you have, but the price. Because if they take a glance, and it's so funny because we've actually tracked this. We tracked this for a little while with clients just out of curiosity, because I was just curious. I'm a curious dude. They look at the picture one time because, well, we can see that, and then they will go and they'll look at the price. And if they don't think that the two are consistent or match each other, they move on. That is your first impression. Your first impression is your list price, hands down, okay? Second impression is when they come through your home, and then they take a look at, well, paint, appearance, street appeal. When I say paint, meaning color, how bright is your home? People are staying home more often. They're more sensitive to natural light, how much light is in the home, things like that. All right, hopefully that answers that, Craig. If not, ping me back. All right, Mohan from Auburn. Other than inventory, what is the biggest concern you see for that buyers have right now? Great question. Without a doubt, emotional decisions. There's the FOMO, fear of missing out. People love acronyms. I don't know where they come up with these things. But anyway, without a doubt, fear of missing out, making emotional decisions. That is probably the biggest challenge that I see with buyers right now, and it is systemic. They're out, buyers that are out in the market because they're scrambling and competing with this. Hey, listen, Jeff Gerke and I on my team, we were chatting the other day, and We were meeting with a client who's been working with somebody else, and they've made a few offers, and he's like, oh, he's frustrated. And so we were talking about off-market homes and whatnot, and Jeff says this. He says, well, you understand that the average home is going to, receive on average, right, between 11 and 20 offers on a home that is well priced. Based on that number, realistically, you have a 5% chance of securing a home. If the average person is writing anywhere between 8 and 11 offers before they get a home, really the odds of securing that home are incredibly low unless you include other factors which are absolutely critical, which are the skill sets of the agent that you're working with. So understand, when we talk about the fear of missing out, what is it that a buyer needs? Buyer needs to make sure that the agent that they are working with steps back and pulls that emotion out. Makes sure that you're making a good business decision. Buying that wrong home is not, $5,000, $10,000 to fix it. That's $30,000, $50,000, $60,000 to fix that problem. Even if you sell your home without an agent, you're still looking at 2.7% of a sales price just in fees with state tax, excise tax, when you talk about recording fees, title, escrow, blah, blah, blah. And then when you bring an agent into it, boop, it adds on top of it. Listen, you need to pull that emotion out. You need to make a good decision for you and your family. And look, there's always going to be another home. I know it's limited. There's always going to be another home. You must be patient so you make that right decision. I personally know, buying the wrong home, man, there's nothing worse coming home to a house every day that never feels like home. I can guarantee you that. That is not a depressing feeling, uninviting. So don't do it. We're telling you, don't do it. So there you go. Mohan, emotion, pull the emotion out. Make sure the person you're working with has got your best interest. Make sure that they are not saying, oh yeah, let's go write this up. If somebody walks you into a house, lets you in, and you look around, and the first thing they say to you is, hey, so you want to buy this house? Wrong person, okay? You need to make sure they're asking you really good qualifying questions about needs, fits, future use, things like that. All right. Wendell from Kirkland. In last week's video about the housing bubble, when do you think we will see a market correction, as you put it? Okay. Realistically, because I did not bring my crystal ball polish today, realistically, we are going to be safe as far as based on, again, making sure that we don't violate the my disclosure, the three-legged chair disclosure. As long as we are not violating the three elements of what is going to maintain a healthy market, we're not going to see a market correction foreseeably for the next 12 to 18 months, realistically. So realistically, and no, I don't foresee that changing anytime soon unless there's some massive global type of issue, economic issue, countries arguing kind of issues, things like that. Realistically, we're going to see something that is going to be closer to the end of 2023-ish. And some people are like, are you sure? And I'm like, well, based on our metrics, based on what we are seeing, and, again, the disclosure of three things cannot change, we need to make sure that, or at least as a whole, as we monitor this, we need to make sure that everybody that is listening to the channel gets a fair shake. So realistically, 12 to 18 months down the road, we are going to be perfectly safe. If when we do see a market correction, it's probably going to be very short. An average recession is really between 12 and 16 months. And I'm seeing this as less than 12 months for a market correction. And I think it will be short-lived. After that, I think we are going to hit, potentially double-digit appreciation after that. That's my humble opinion. We'll see. Been pretty accurate so far since about 2007-ish, since we started doing this. All right. Dominic from Bothell. Where should we focus our attention when getting ready to sell? Hey, that's actually a really good question, you guys. All right. So Dominic from Bothell. All right. First thing is street appeal. And, this time of year, we got leaves on the trees. We got some tulips and whatever little flowers that are growing and flowering. Having color in the front is very nice. And you might say, well, okay, so why? Okay, well, man might be the head of the household, but the woman is the neck. And the neck is what turns the head. So that all being said, if you roll up and you look across and you're like, wow, I don't think so. Keep going. All right. Street appeal is going to be, without a doubt, very important. And so that's the primary. Next, kitchens and master bathrooms would be next on your list. And then next would be overall color tones. And so there's look, guys, there is no false start in a market. When your average residential market sale timeline is between 7 and 10 days, there's no chance for a second shot at it. You got to get it right the first time. Okay, it's better to spend a little more than you planned than a little less than you should have to get your home really in show condition for prospective buyers. Don't make a buyer come through and then start saying, I need to do this, I need to do this, and do that. Okay, now it becomes a fixer. Don't do that. Okay, spend a few dollars to get your place ship shape. All right, it's not that hard. Purge your things out. Get your staging set and ready to go. Make it so that it is inviting to a prospective buyer coming in. So instead of saying, get out, you want it to say, welcome home, right? Okay, so that's hopefully, Dominic, that answered your question in a funny way. Anyway, so with that is your weekly update. Still struggling on inventory. If you have any questions, make sure you post them for us. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the I like, and hey, let us know how we're doing. If there's anything else we can do for you, let us know. There's no strings attached. Ask your questions. We respond within about 30 minutes on average, except for on Sunday. Look, we're here for you. Just let us know what you need. In the meantime, have a beautiful day. Stay dry out there, and I'll talk to you later. Take care.